Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to learn about customizing with our own property values. If you can remember, in the previous lecture, we did try with this syntaxes. What if I'm just trying to type, for example, get hyphen services, maybe this is service, and I wanted to pipe it to select with an object, and with a property called I want as the status, and also names example. So if you think that I'm sure that you might have already noticed that these are the spelling mistakes, definitely, because these values are not available. If you want, you can simply, if I press it, it is actually throwing an error. Because I missed out here, one would be the comma. So let me correct here comma. Assume that I did actually given the comma correctly, even though the output was simply came but with a blank. The reason here, as simple as that, here the status is not proper, as also the name is not proper. So if you want to get confirm, if you know previously, like we used to do the get hyphen service, which is coming as a name and the status, but instead of this, what we have given is we tried this command with its names as well as the status. So that shouldn't give the output, but in fact it gave the output. The reason for this is it is actually consider whatever it is coming out of this, of the output of this get services, and it is just passed, and later point it is try to create with another object with the properties of the status and whatever the spell mistake we have given. With this it is actually trying to give the output. That's why if you can just go up of the output, actual output, it is trying to put the output. So for that matter, it has executed till here properly. After that, whatever we are actually trying to see here, it is also executed as we expected. How we can troubleshoot this kind of issues? Or do you think it's a kind of error? In fact, it's not an error, because we gave in a right way, or maybe we wanted to get as the output, but by mistake we have given as the wrong way. But we wanted to know how best we can correct it in the future, and how best we can create our own properties. So to create our own properties, what we can do is, as I said, if you can remember, for everything we need to go for the get object, which is the GM. The GM will actually give you the more information. For example, here what I can do is I can pipe this and I can just get the GM. So you should be able to see what is happening here. So the get member gives here very clear information that these are the two properties has been already created. I mean, it's thinking that these are already available out of this, and it is trying to give the output with these properties value. In other one word, it is thinking that I have created the two different properties. One would be the names and other one would be the stdqs. So these are the two properties it is thinking that I intentionally created here two of the properties to get the output. That's why it is actually showing here as the output. If I just scroll up, I know it's very lengthy, but this is thinking that here the two properties are coming up. That's how it's thinking. So now let's think that how best we can create a service. For example, if I just go to the service specific, for example, I want the bits, and piping out to the selecting the object with the properties, maybe like I just want the name here, the name as well as the before that I need to enter here properties as the name comma status. So I would be able to get the output here. But if you think that the name is, what is the name? Is it the name of the system, or name of a service, or name of what exactly it stands for? The name here, it's not clear. Maybe when you try to save in a report which you wanted to present to your management or to a person who doesn't have the background of what exactly this report looks. let me explain here most important syntax format that you might have to remember as long as you are working with the PowerShell, because this specific syntax format you would be using very frequently in the upcoming lectures or maybe with your day-to-day activities relevant to the PowerShell. So to begin with that, I'm going to actually use the same command, in this case just the bit name, and the property I'm just using only one, in this case just the name, just for the testing purpose. I'm going to explain in 4 or 5 different syntaxes in the upcoming of this same video lecture demonstration, and there I can explain more, but let me construct a very basic, very basic syntax here. So this is a syntax actually which we get the only name as the output here. What I want is I want it here with it, this name should become as a service name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build here with a comma. That means there's something else is coming up with at the rate. When I say at the rate, it means whatever it is coming within the pipe as a funnel, from here the filter, whatever it is coming out, and for that think that it's a complete object you're trying to going to work on that with the at the rate, and it would actually end up with a it should contain some kind of 2 brackets and separated within the brackets with a semicolon. What exactly the semicolon is, the first value and the second value is separated with the semicolon. Now let's put here as the required value. For example, here in this case I want as name equivalent to a service name. I want it should be come as the service name, and then I'm just closing this so that it is thinking that whatever I'm typing inside that, it is a service name. Now I need to, as I said earlier, here within the bracket there is a semicolon which talks about the first value and the second value. So in the second value, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type here a kind of expression. So the expression will have again a two more brackets. So I can type here like expression equals, maybe I can say that as I said earlier, when you type the expression you need to again type the 2 brackets. So I'm typing here the 2 brackets. I can put it here as the status example now, or maybe you can put any kind of value inside this bracket, so that is coming as the output. Let me execute as till date as till the syntax and see what is happening. So you see here the service name is coming up because the name is we have created as a name as a service name, and the expression of this is coming as a status, which whatever the value we have given here. So if I give here as the output this is key example, that's also coming out as this key. And now what I wanted is, I don't want this must be as my value name or the exact value of the bit. So that means whatever till date it is coming out of this object, I want that value should be come up here and should be appear dynamically. I can't I can't type it here manually, so it must be a dynamic value. In other way, it is actually coming out of your memory. So the values are stored in a computer memory, and you need to call here dynamically that specific value. To do that, let's call here you need to actually type a command which can call you here like the same thing, but in the brackets instead of a text. Actually, as I said, the 2 brackets should be there. The dynamic, if you're trying to call from the memory, you need to actually type as a dollar. That means it's from the memory underscore, that is that's a symbol you need to call whenever you are trying to pull out of any of the object which is in the within the pipeline and you want to call that, you need to use these. And if you are looking for some kind of property to be only called, then the dot is important. So that means from the memory, this indicates here from the memory, whatever the funnel is coming out of this funnel, so whatever the pipeline you are getting that output, just trying to take from the memory as a dot. And what value you want it here, from the dot the property value is the name, so I'm just trying to put here name. So what would happen is if I try to enter, I'm going to get here as the exact dynamic value has been generated now, or it's actually coming up. So let's apply these kind of values to the real problematic scripts. Maybe you're also thinking that here you have the name twice. Definitely you don't want that. So what we can do is the first value, which is this name and the bits, is coming just because the value we have specified here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out, that property, so that it won't execute. So let me take out this, and I should be able to get the value. Here it is coming out, but I want even the status, because the original query we also wanted even service name as well as the status. Now earlier it was just the name. We wanted to change to the service name the way we wanted, because the way we wanted is the service name. Now we entered here, we also wanted comma here the status. So what I would do is I would simply give a status as a comma and simply type the status, because that's coming from the pipeline. So simply it would work because this is output is coming from the single pipeline. As I explained in the most confusing part, sometimes people when they use aliases or the custom aliases, we also get sometimes confused, like a GSV for the get service. Similarly here in this also within this syntax also, people can go for their own custom naming format. For example, if you just Google, or maybe you are trying to read some kind of PowerShell book, they might confuse you, like by giving here some kind of expressions. For example, entire the expression they simply rename to E, or the name to just the here the entire name, which is coming as the, because the value is just the one, so you get the same thing here because it is taken dynamically, because these are the first values which are accepted. So don't get into confused if you're trying to understand if you're trying to for the first time trying to get it what exactly N stands for here the name, but we never know that if we want to get what exactly N, then we might have to go for the GM to get more information, what are the properties, and it might be difficult, but I feel and I recommend that if you try to write in this way, it's so easy to remember and it's easy to recognize for others also to read. But if somebody is writing here in this way, it's too difficult. You see here I also customize here GSV, that's again get service, which is difficult. See here one more customized, there's no name has been given here in this syntax, and the bits is coming as the output. It's so difficult if somebody is trying to understand. Maybe this is the lengthy one for you, but this becomes very short, but it might be good for you but not for everyone to read this. I wanted to make sure that you to also understand here the value, whatever the name is coming up. This also we call it sometime as the label. That also means it's the same thing. Okay, did you give as a name or the L or the label, it one and the same. So if I give it here as the L, this also the same, which is the same thing. So it doesn't it doesn't give you any errors. So we have been working with the only get-service or the normal command. Let's jump into the WMI specific, and you can with the PowerShell you can connect to the WMI and get the values also. For example, if I want to get the WMI specific, any of the classes specific information, you can simply get -WMI command, commandlet, and then WMI object to query. You need to have the class name, so CLASS class. So here I can type any of the class, like class. For example, in this case, I want to query for win32 underscore a logical disk example. It's not taking these tab, so let me type here logical disk, if I'm correct, that's spelling logical disk, and I can get the, so these values are now we are able to see here. And if I want to filter furthermore, I don't want to see all these information. For example, what I can do is I can simply go and use a pipe. So simple, we can use a pipe to get the output if I want, or I can filter right away here by using a filter option with the device ID. So if you can look at here the device ID, maybe I want the full information on the C drive only. I don't want on a device D, or I don't want device on A. So I can simply type here the device ID with the specific values, like here equivalent to maybe this is the device ID is C colon. So this is the value I wanted to get as a filter within this filter. So always filter, we try to put it into the double quotes, and we have given here the C colon also should be into the single quote, so that we get the exact value here. And if I just put output, it's only showing now for the specific value. But I want all this information, I want in a different table format, just like to have only device ID and the free space information. So what I have to do is I have to filter a further level with the select object. So I'm just going to pipe this information. As we learned in the previous lectures, we can use hyphen object, which is the select object, hyphen object, and then the properties for this would be the definitely the device ID which I wanted. So I can give here this specific one, which is a device ID, and also I want comma, I also want a free space example. So why I'm looking for this information is maybe my admins wanted to know, and every day as the scheduled task, maybe this entire script, once it is finalized, maybe this script is going to run for me the scheduled task, so that I would be every day getting the information from the local machines of the free space information from the C drive of every machine. So let's build this entire syntax here, or the script. So I'm just going to hit enter. That's going to actually show me here the values. In this case, it's actually showing me in a right way, right format. But if you look at here, there's a big lengthy number which is difficult for me to understand. So what I want is, I wanted that to be converted in a right way. For example, here this is where we have to focus more. Whatever we have tried to learn so far gonna be used with further calculations to be done against to this, to see this value in its GBs, not in the kilobytes, or not in the byte information. We don't want in the bytes information. This should be showing me in a GB information. To do that, what we are going to try to do is we have to build further level of the syntax. So I'm taking the same commandlet here, or the same syntax here. On top of it, I'm trying to build here by piping this specific information. We have already piped it to this object. So let's take it out. What we wanted here, like the device ID is needed, but the free space I wanted with a more calculation. So what I wanted to do is, I just wanted to put here as a comma, and dynamically whatever it is coming out of the memory, we wanted to do the calculation. For that, at the rate symbol, and the two brackets should be open, right? And you know that it must be separated with the semicolon. That's what we have given. This is a syntax, at least the key structure. Now from here, I need to give either label or name. So I'm just giving here as the label or the name. So name equivalent, it's going to be free space in GB. And as a next step would be here on my semicolon, which I need to work out, which is here. It is very clearly mentioned as the expression, E equivalent to expression, or you can type the full syntax, but there's no confusion on, at least on the expression part. So we can type as the expression. Always the expression will have the two more brackets. Out of this, the dynamic value is here the dollar underscore and the dot. So the dot is which is coming here, the value is the free space, right? This free space which we wanted. So that free space value we need to give here as the property. And now I need to calculate by 1024 if I want. What if already PowerShell knows what exactly the size of the 1 GB. So let's give it a try, because the PowerShell knows this value already 1 GB, so it's going to calculate for you. Oops, here we missed out the double quotes. You can very clearly see here this is where the double quotes are missing. So let's put the double quotes here. Let me go back to that value. So it also converted it to the normal text format, and then looks like everything is okay now. Let's hit enter, and now you are able to get the proper output. Looks like it's 101 of the GB, which is in a free space. So this is how you can calculate. This looks good, but what if you don't want to see this kind of value, because these value is coming into the complete value in the points. So we want it into the integers. So what we can do is we can simply type here as the this value as hyphen as we can say that it must be integer. So integer is int. That's it. It should actually come up into the by trimming that entire dot values to a proper value. I hope this is useful for you, and in the upcoming lectures we would be seeing more excited lectures very similar to this. Thank you.